Prepare for cuteness overload, because even if you're not a self-professed animal lover, you won't help but say "aw" to what these 10 newborn animals look like. What's up, Factnatics? This is Discovery Amuse, serving up your daily dose of the most outrageous, outlandish, and out-of-this-world fun facts. You won't believe our number 1 newborn animal even came from its terrifying parents. Let's get it on. Number 10. Rhino. They sure look like the last remaining descendants of dinosaurs, don't you think? But as huge and scary as they may seem, rhinos are already close to extinction because of heartless hunters poaching them for their horns. It's unfortunate because then we won't get to see much of these precious little calves in the future. Leave the rhinos alone, people! I mean, just look at that wobbly baby rhino trying to walk. Newborn calves can actually walk just an hour after being born, but they need some days of practice. For the first 2 months, they nurse from their mom until they are able to graze by themselves, but they remain with their mommy rhino for 2 to 4 years because, they are scared little creatures. And just like their adult counterparts, rhino calves love playing in the mud. Like, really love it. Think baby rhinos are adorable? Wait till you see our number 1 pick. That'll make you gasp in awe. But before we get to that, number 9, elephant. Now, who doesn't love these gentle giants? Interestingly, despite their enormous size, elephants can walk around without making a sound. So if one is walking behind your back, you might not even notice it immediately, which makes them rather dangerous if you're standing in their way. Although I wouldn't blame you for wanting to run around the young ones because they're just so adorably playful. On average, an elephant calf weighs around 113 kilos and stands around 1 meter when they're born. Not exactly tiny. In fact, they are such big newborns that they can finish up 3 gallons of milk every single day. And even after they learn how to eat plants, they still keep drinking milk for 2 to up to 10 years. Just like human babies, young calves are extremely curious about the world, and they like interacting and playing with other calves. And as human babies like sucking their thumb, sometimes baby elephants suck on their trunk to help them relax when they're not nursing. Who knew we had a lot of similarities with these fantastic beasts? I wonder if the same goes for our next baby animal. Number 8, giant panda. You may think that these huge, furry animals are lazy and do nothing but chew on their favorite meal, bamboo. Well, there is some truth to that because a giant panda typically eats 12 hours a day. But did you know that they are also skilled tree climbers and swimmers? Yes, their sedentary look can be deceiving. But while giant pandas can weigh in as much as 136 kilos, did you know that newborn pandas are actually very, very tiny at just an average of 100 grams? And unlike their furry black and white parents, these cubs are pink and furless, only developing their signature monochromatic mane after 3 weeks. Baby pandas are such fragile little beings because they are born blind and unable to stand. And because they are so teeny-weeny, it is not unusual for them to be crushed by their mothers to whom they rely on for milk and warmth. Our next newborn animal is definitely no ugly duckling. Number 7, swan. They are majestic, graceful, and elegant, like royal beings gliding across the water. It's no surprise that swans inspired one of the world's most famous ballets. But baby swans, or cygnets as they're called, don't look as glamorous as their parents when hatched, although they possess their own unique charm. After the female swans, or pens, lay their eggs, they sit on them for 6 weeks until they hatch. Once they come out of their shell, the cygnets stay with their mommy pen for 6 months before they spread their wings, so to speak. But until they do, I wouldn't suggest goofing around with those fluffy little cygnets because their swan parents are furiously protective, unless you're meaning to get swan slapped. Our next baby animal might be a little controversial given our current situation, but let's hold off on our judgment, shall we? Number 6, bat. I don't know about you, but just the sight of bats creeps me out. I mean, don't they look like rats with wings or something like that? The Caped Crusader did make bats look cooler, but I never saw them as, cute. Well, not until I saw how baby bats actually look. Baby bats or pups usually weigh up to a third the weight of their mother when they are born. Wow, that's pretty huge. I can only imagine the labor pains, but despite their big size early on, newborn pups need a lot of care and development before they can set out on their own and bring terror to scaredy cats like me. Their hind legs are typically bigger and stronger because they need those to cling on to their moms during flight. And to prevent them from falling, pups also bite their mommy's nipples for a good measure. Oh, the things moms endure for their babies. Next up, number 5, giraffe. Towering at up to 6 meters, giraffes are the tallest land animals in the world, so it's no surprise that their calves are also some of the biggest newborns in the animal kingdom. And perhaps unsurprisingly, just about an hour after being born, baby giraffes can already walk on their own. After conceiving for 15 months, a mama giraffe gives birth to her calf in a standing position. That means a baby giraffe enters the earth by falling 5 feet high from its mom's womb. Ouch! But not to worry, because a typical newborn calf is already around 2 meters tall and weighs an average of 45 to 60 kilos, so they're not as fragile as other newborn animals. But yeah, that 5-foot fall probably still stings. Number 4, snail. I know what you're thinking. Baby escargots are the least thing you would expect to see in this list, but we'll change your opinion, you'll see. And admit it, you've always wondered if baby snails are born with their shells, am I right? Ladies and gentlemen, here's what a baby snail looks like. A baby snail form is what is called a protoconch before hatching from its egg. The protoconch is something like an underdeveloped shell, so they're soft and translucent. Now, doesn't that look gorgeous? Once it comes out of its egg, the baby snail would eat calcium-rich food in order to strengthen its shell. See, even animals need calcium to get stronger. Our next pick is as Australian as Vegemite. But unlike Vegemite, everyone loves them. Number 3, kangaroo. Here's a bit of trivia about kangaroos. Did you know that a male kangaroo is actually called a boomer and a female one is called a flyer? But of course, what we're really most interested in are the baby kangaroos, or joeys. We're all familiar with the image of the adult kangaroo carrying its joey in its pouch. Well, apparently, when the joey is born, it is still pretty much in a premature stage and is actually just 2 centimeters long. So what it does to fully mature is crawl up and enter its mama's pouch, and then the tiny little joey attaches its mouth to one of its mom's nipples until it grows big enough to go outside of the pouch, which usually takes several weeks. By 7 to 10 months, the joey is ready to completely leave its mom's pouch and conquer the outback. Number 2, seal. No, not the 90s singer whose claim to fame is being married once to Heidi Klum. This seal. The fin-footed creatures of the animal world that spend most days sunbathing and just being overall lazy. No wonder I have a soft spot for them. But if you think adult seals are already so charming and endearing, then you'll fall head over heels for these little cuddly pups. But one sad fact about these chubby furballs is that at an early age, their mothers abandon them and leave these clueless cuties to consume their own fat for months until they mature. Now that's tough love if I've ever seen one. But fret not, because they have been fed enough milk by their mommy seal before they are left to fend for themselves. And don't underestimate a seal's milk too, because it contains 50% fat and is super high in calories. Definitely not for Weight Watchers. We're down to our top pick, and it sure is a doozy. Number 1, hippopotamus. If you've ever seen a hippo in real life, you know better not to mess with these loud, gigantic, and aggressive beasts. Their large teeth and tusks, let alone their massive bodies, can easily threaten those who dare to disturb their peace. But have you ever seen a baby hippo? Oh, they're just the cutest. Now, who would believe that precious little thing will eventually grow up to be a humongous, scary animal? Newborn calves are already heavyweights in their own right, clocking in at up to 50 kilos. With their big, shiny heads and short, tiny legs, they can spend a long time underwater while they go suckling at their mommy hippos. They can close their ears and nostrils while feeding on their mama's milk underwater to prevent them from drowning. Now, that's a good baby hippo. So, which one of these newborn animals most tickled your fancy? Let us know in the comments section below. Want to be a part of our fantastic tribe of Factnatics but don't know how? It's easy. Just smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date on our latest life-changing, boredom-busting content. If you couldn't get enough of what these newborn animals look like, do yourself a favor and check out the 10 cutest baby animals you need to pet. Till then, stay adorable, Factnatics, and see you in the next video.